All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? And if you just so happen to like log into the internet over the past, I don't know how long it has been, pretty much all day today, uh, if you've managed to just log into the internet, then you will know Elon Musk has officially purchased Twitter. Now, the whole time Elon Musk was going through this Twitter purchase, I've had my drawbacks. I've had my reservations. Not gonna lie to you, I still think that he overpaid. I still think that Twitter doesn't have that much value. Now you listen to a guy like Sticks, and he's out there. Yeah, there's still some value here, because Sticks does Sticks shit, Sticks X and Hammer shit. He's like, he loves Twitter. He loves fighting and feuding on Twitter, but there really isn't much of, I think, a market for Twitter right now. I don't think that there's much of a market at all. I think basically the market has left Twitter, and basically because of radical leftist fucking political ideology censoring the hell out of Twitter, I just don't know if you're going to be able to recover any of that audience that has left. I mean, most of Twitter is probably nothing more than media shills and, basically their stock accounts for the most part. I probably got about 10 stock accounts apiece. And all they do is get on Twitter and pretend like they're celebrities and whatnot. Then you have the content creators like SticksX and Hammer, like High Impact Flicks, and give, that's basically what they do is they get on there and try to pretend like they're doing some for real shit. So what Twitter is. So, coming from a large majority of us who are ultimately suspended at any given time on Twitter, there's no real value for me to go over there and listen to their incoherent fucking ramblings. However, Elon Musk has decided that he's going to purchase Twitter and make it a safe haven for free speech. Here's the deal, and this is the God's to honest truth. This is nothing that you'll hear in your fucking lame ass mainstream media. They're never going to they're never going to be intellectually honest. And for the most part, I don't suspect that many people who follow me watch the mainstream media. I don't know very many people who watch the mainstream. The ones that do watch the mainstream media are a cathartic mess, and you can talk to them tongue in cheek, but it's nobody that you would seriously hang out with. But with that being said, um, I don't know very many people who put any kind of confidence into the mainstream media at all. I don't like. I mean, they're just not reliable people whatsoever delivering this news, and it's not like they're doing any real journalism. So basically, you have a social media company in Twitter that is totally regulated to nothing but media shills, people trying to sell shit, people trying to market their own BS. You know what I'm saying? Maybe do some Spanish lessons on here or something. Say "e." "E" is "and" in Spanish, which you could probably say that a lot here on the internet. Whenever they're like, "Oh, well, what do you think about this issue?" "E." "What do you think about you gay's marriage?" "E." "What do you think about the society of all of these minorities being discriminated?" "E, e, e." That's all you have to say. Just "e." But ultimately, this is exactly what Twitter's reduced to. All these people trying to package their own garbage, their own smut, their own trash, their own tabloid bullshit, and trying to sell it to each other. So there's no real market there. Nobody is nobody is nobody's in the market on Twitter. Everybody's trying to sell, but there's nobody buying on Twitter. And so where is the value into Twitter? You pretty much suspended, banned. People don't, ordinary people don't get on Twitter. People who would be wanting to go ahead and invest in any kind of product is not going to get on Twitter anymore. You don't even see these people a lot on Facebook right here. Now I'm doing a video here, but you don't see a lot of organic traffic on Facebook. So why would, if I was trying to promote something, if I was trying to sell something, I certainly wouldn't do it on these platforms. Why? Because there isn't a lot of traffic on these platforms. The whole point, I mean, who goes out and spends a lot of money, on a billboard on an abandoned road? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. And this is the issue with Twitter. There's not a lot of organic traffic. It's basically just media shills. Well, Elon Musk says that he's going to buy Twitter and open it up. Now, with the position that Facebook is in and a lot of these other social media platforms, I mean, it's a possibility. I won't say it's potential, but it's a possibility that there is potential for growth. I mean, there's not potential, but there's a possibility for potential. However, and see, Travis doesn't even use Twitter. There's a lot of people who won't even use Twitter. There's a lot of people that will probably never use Facebook again. And so, I've made the trifecta. I've been banned from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. In fact, I've been banned from Twitter 3 times. So now you're looking at a website, right, that ultimately a lot of these social justice warriors, a lot of these people were put in charge. So, the media is having a meltdown. Why is the media having a meltdown? Because the media cannot compete. Socialist, communist, these people that have been in charge of all of your mainstream narratives, they can't compete on a free market. That's why they hate capitalism. They know that their product is not high quality. Their product is low quality. It's everything. Everything has to be substandard for socialists to thrive in an economy. In an open market, in a true capitalist society, and we don't live in a capitalist society, we live in a fascist society. Our economy is pretty fascist, with the regulations, the government controls, the government manipulation of markets. We don't live in a capitalist economy. We live in a fascist economy. So with that being said, socialists cannot compete in a capitalist society. In a free and open market, socialists can't compete because everything socialism produced is either of low quality or substandard. Everything's substandard. Even the education that these people achieve in their later careers now is a substandard education to what it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So they're coming out and they're popping off at the mouth, thinking that they know everything, sitting there saying that we need this, we need that, yada, yada, yada. Well, now you have a private investor, which you can consider is Elon Musk a capitalist? Absolutely not. He claims to be a socialist. But now you have the private market getting involved and, implementing a capitalist solution to an otherwise socialist problem of marketing. So the deal is the reason why YouTube, did so well, and a lot of people started using YouTube, sharing the videos, getting attention to YouTube from all of the creators. A lot of these guys right here, Travis is on Facebook, but Scott Casey Gill's one of the YouTubers. Wrestling Jesus. A lot of these people would put in their content. They would try to do the best they could. It was competition to get your views and get your, audience and whatever it was that we were doing at the time. So people were putting in a lot of effort. Now that effort is all low. You go back and you look at the new group of fucking screw tubers, whatever the hell you want to call them, snooze tubers, because their stuff is just monotone. It's boring. Either that or it's a cheap ripoff of other stuff that people done better in the past. And so, whenever I scroll through YouTube, I see somebody like a wrestling ranter who's basically just a cheap knockoff of Charlie Wolfkale. And I think it's lame. He's just sitting there spouting off bullshit to go ahead and try and get attention on his channel. But I mean, when I've already saw this, whenever Charlie did it better. Charlie got the reactions that he was aged. This guy right here is just being annoying. So, I mean, I don't really keep up with these new YouTubers that come out. I know that, certain people that I know like to work with ththese guys or like to be on their platforms and like to sit there, but I'm not really. I'm not interested. These people are entitled. They think that they're better than everybody else. They think, this is evolution, and I'm more advanced than you, and you used to do YouTube back in the days in your car, and, you're pathetic, and I'm cool because I have this right here, and, it is what it is. So goes the socialist internet that we have right now. And if, if like Truth Social or Gab, or Rumble's actually starting to become competitive. But if any of these other platforms had the same if they had the same accessibility as YouTube, and because everybody already has YouTube, everybody already has Twitter, everybody, so they don't want to change a whole hell of a lot. But if they had the same accessibility, then Facebook, Twitter, YouTube would have already went under. You know, if you had the same accessibility for a say a DuckDuckGo or a Kiwi or one of these other server sites, then a lot of people would just use these other server sites because they're not getting much value out of these Twitters and out of these YouTubes and out of these Facebooks. They're just not. You know, if every time I'm on a 90-day ban and, you know, nobody's going to see my post for 90 days because Facebook has declared that I said something naughty, I questioned the election or whatever the hell I did. You know, and my posts are now buried for like 90 days, or I'm banned from making a post for 90 days, then really I'm not getting any use out of this fucking product. I would just sooner have everybody move on to a more efficient product and then go back to, you know, having more fun, making their own content, doing their own videos, putting in that effort, you know, to go ahead and achieve some sort of value. But that's just not the way that the case is right now in the internet. And the bars have to be lowered for the socialists because the socialists cannot compete in an open market. So this is exactly why they're having meltdowns. And in fact, we're going to go ahead and listen to some of the most belligerent people to ever have a fucking opinion on the internet, the Young Turks, as they react to Elon Musk buying Twitter. Let's listen.
Whether he likes it or not, Elon Musk is now in charge of Twitter. He's been working off and on throughout the year to purchase the company. At various points, he tried to weasel out of it, pretending that he had issues with bots or something. But no, as of right now, he does actually own the company.
Now, you have John Adiarola over there running his mouth saying, oh, whether Elon Musk likes it or not, he owns the company. Well, duh, he owns the fucking company, and why would he not like to own the fucking company? I mean, the company's been kind of crap anyways. And to me, honestly, Elon overpaid for the company, which is exactly what they're going to fucking say. And I meant, ultimately, the reason why Twitter was so low and why Elon was able to go ahead and swoop in and purchase Twitter is because of the regulations, the administrators that are leftist that ultimately ended up banning and suspending, because ultimately what happened was back in 2016, people got tired of the elitist bullshit in DC and in fucking California. They took to the internet, they started to create their own content. You know, they didn't go line up with the whole fucking I'm with her Hillary Clinton bullshit. They all went out and massively did the greatest fucking troll this country has ever or will ever probably see again. And that was, they went out in 2016 on November the 3rd and voted for fucking Donald Trump. Everybody that I know that was here on the internet, everybody and on YouTube, a majority of the people that actually were independent content creators. I'm not talking about your fucking shills like the Young Turks or Sam Cedar or David Pacman or all these little fucking proxies from the left, from MSNBC, CBS, all these people, you know, Adam Ruins, you know, those guys, yeah, they all, you know, supported Hillary, and they were all upset and crying and weeping, and it was glorious. It was glorious because all the independent content creators got together and said, yeah, we're kind of tired of you fucking crybabies. We're kind of tired of your BLM bullshit, your riots, and, you know, all of the stupid bullshit that you were trying to pull in the mainstream media. And everybody went out. They got fed up with your elitist fucking shit, and they went out and voted for Donald Trump. Now, you know, particularly he wasn't my first choice. I wouldn't have picked Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee. However, that's exactly what happened. But after that happened, well, Silicon Valley threw a big fucking fit, and then they started to destroy their own products, which is your social media sites. This is why you don't see the same kind of traffic in fucking 2022 that you used to back in 2015, 2014, when you would have good memes, people were doing good trolls. You had people out there, you know, supporting it, going out there, having a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun sitting here, going after the left at the time, having fun, going after them on the Hillary Clinton things and supporting Donald Trump. That was fun. And like I said, Donald Trump isn't my first candidate of choice. However, that's exactly what happened. And it was a big fuck you, and their egos could not deal with it. And instead of going back and changing, saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we've done a lot too much. Maybe we went too far trying to go ahead and take away, implement gun control. Maybe we went too far trying to hijack the medical industry with our Obamacare and putting our regulations, running up premiums, stuff like that. Instead of fixing their product, instead of the Democrats, they doubled down on it. And then they ended up coming back, and then it doesn't matter what you believe, doing all this nefarious shit with the Russiagate and stuff like that, because you have to watch media. Nobody watches the mainstream media. They have no audience. Nobody trusts them. And doubling down on it and censoring everybody on the internet because nobody likes you and nobody trusts you. You have to earn that confidence. You don't have the control. You can go ahead and cancel us, throw us off. You can go ahead and give me another strike on YouTube. You can go ahead and give me another 90-day ban on Facebook. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make me like you and follow you. It's just going to make me resent you that much more. However, these tools are going to sit there and say exactly why this is a big issue and why having a privately owned company is a bad thing. So let's listen.
And that has consequences. Some will be coming over the next few months, but some are already here. The CEO has been fired, and the CFO has been fired, and the head of legal policy, trust, and safety is gone. The general counsel is fired, and that's the leadership. But regular workers for Twitter are already being fired as well. Apparently.
And I'm not going to sit there and cry, because how much were these people sitting there crying whenever they decided to go ahead and make some fucking cathartic ramblings about the fucking commie cough that ended up cost me losing my job, not participating in their damn fucking cytokine storm, And they didn't care. They're sitting there laughing about it, with their little snide remarks and saying, no, you're just uncivilized. Well, guess what? Now you can go ahead and look for another job. I'm sure your mommy and daddy will sit there and pay for you. Yeah, they'll be protected over there in Silicon Valley. They'll sit there and have their little government subsidies handed to them, for as long as they can. It's going to be interesting, because once Silicon Valley goes, Hollywood and the entertainment industry is already collapsing. Once the fucking Silicon Valley goes, what the hell is you already hear them complaining about, was it agriculture? In fact, it was this channel right here complaining about the agriculture industry using too much of the water that for their baths and stuff. You just live in a fucking weird ass state with ridiculous ass. You can't sustain yourself, socialists. You can't sustain yourselves. But we'll go ahead and listen to you ramble on about bullshit.
Members of a data engineering team have already been booted. An entire team of data engineers. These are not absolute massive millionaires. These are regular people. But right-wingers will greet this news and the news that might come.
They're no longer regular people, as WJ would say. They are unemployed people. Get a job, you commie bums.
Soon, he's promised that he would fire something like 75% of the company. He apparently told investors that
nice.
They're all wokesters, so they deserve to go.
Yep.
I personally think that they're people struggling to get by in a difficult economy, but
well, they're going to struggle even more, buddy.
Twitter, I guess.
They're going to really struggle now.
Other consequences as well. He is apparently very worried, and should be, that advertisers are not going to be interested in spending large amounts of money on a site that he is going to do apparently whatever he can to turn into the next Parler or Truth Social or Getter or whatever other right-wing social media site exists that people notably have not left Twitter for. And
I mean, really, to be honest with you, there's not a lot of people on Twitter. There's not. It's mostly shills and sock accounts. So, I mean, when you get on a Getter, when you get on a Truth Social, whenever you get on a Gab, it doesn't have the same kind of nonchalant bullshit. There's now, granted, your circle of friends are going to be less likely to be on Gab. They're going to be less likely to be on Minds. They're going to be less likely to be on Truth Social. And part of the problem is the accessibility. It has nothing to do with the websites at all. It just has to do with like fucking Twitter. I mean, for True Social, didn't even have an Android app for the longest. You know what I'm saying? And these big fucking tech corporations trying to protect their own interest. But I mean, nobody's really on Twitter right now. I mean, look at the flow of traffic. Look at the engagements. Look at the algorithm. I mean, you know, your biggest trends get what, 2 or 3 thousand. So there's not like fucking. There's a lot of people interacting on Twitter right now. From what I see, I still have my account. It's just suspended. I can't do shit with it, and I'm just waiting to see if it'll get unsuspended whenever Elon takes over. But there's not a lot of traffic on Twitter. There really isn't, and that's just not me saying that. That's just the God's honest truth. Go over there and look at the top trends. See how much they're actually, trending. They're not at all. You know, you can see all the number one trends like A&W wrestling. A&W wrestling trends number one every Wednesday night. And yet their ratings, they can barely pull in, a million viewers. Most of the time it's like 900,000, which is about status quo for the trending on Twitter, to be honest with you. They don't really trend in the millions. They trend in the hundreds of thousands. So that means that there's not a lot of people on Twitter. There's not a lot of organic interactions. It's mostly just sock accounts and bot accounts, federal government agents and stuff like that, creating a number of sock accounts. It's a number of the media personalities creating sock accounts to go ahead and protect their ridiculous, fucking commentary that they sit there and spew all the damn time. And, these celebrities and whatnot, and they have a lot of sock accounts, but the traffic's not organic. And this is why Elon Musk, ultimately sued the company because of this, to go ahead and get them to go ahead and lower the price, because certainly it wasn't worth $40 million that he paid for it. And I could have told him that. I told him that. I said that whenever I did my first video, that Twitter wasn't worth $40 million. I don't think it's worth $20 million. Maybe two or three, was it? No, it was billion, right? $40 billion is what he paid? No, fuck no. Absolutely not. Maybe 2 or 3 billion at the most. This is the most I'd pay for it. But the potential just isn't there right now. I mean, well, I won't say that the potential's not there, but there's not a lot of growth opportunity there. Just because you've got a lot of YouTubers, that are still somehow on YouTube as independent, mostly gatekeepers, and a bunch of media personalities on there, does not make Twitter a competent site, because even the traffic on YouTube. I'm doing this video on YouTube. I'm doing it on Facebook too, but the traffic on YouTube is going down. More people are starting to realize that Rumble, Spotify, and then, you have other apps that are going to compete. Like I watch a lot of Tubi, and then sometimes I'll jump on board to HBO Max if there's something that I want to see come out. And then I look at Rumble because the commentary is a lot better on Rumble. The content creators are just a lot better. They're a little bit old school. They know how to talk in long form. And, the material is just a little bit better on Rumble. And I don't have to deal with near as many commercials on Rumble. So, I mean, YouTube is actually going down as well. So, that's one thing that I always, tell these people: open you up an account on Rumble. Start, doubling down on your stuff. That way, if you can't do videos on YouTube, do it on Rumble, do it on BitChute. I got a BitChute account. I still need to work on doing some stuff for Rumble, but it is what it is. But we'll go ahead and go through this video, because I'm going to have to end up wrapping this video up pretty soon, because, you know what? My battery's low.
So they're apparently telling people, including a dozen clients of Group M, this is an ad buying agency, saying that particularly if Donald Trump is reinstated, they might pause their ad spending. Elon Musk has not done a ton to try to reassure Twitter users that he has their best interests at heart, but he's already put a statement to try to placate the advertisers, saying that he was buying the company to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner. He said that Twitter cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. The issue is that his most devoted fans have been supporting.
Now, here's where they're going to go ahead and get completely stupid. You got to understand one thing, that John Idearola, Cenk Uygur, they're kind of generic media commentary at its best. Their satire is really, really horrible. They're just a bunch, basically, what TYT is, and this is just the best. They're just walking, talking memes. That's exactly what they are. They go out and they say something ridiculously stupid. And the thing is that TYT, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, all of these people that go out there and do the dumbest shit have the little breakdowns that they have. They think that, oh yeah, everybody's laughing with me and we're all laughing together. No, we're laughing at you because of the dumbest shit that you say. Everybody is mocking you and making fun of you. Everybody. There's not very many people. That fucking group that supports TYT is so marginalized, it's almost non-existent anymore. I guarantee you that most of the people that I know that even watch TYT at some point in time, a lot of them jumped off whenever Destiny jumped off, when Jimmy Dore jumped off, whenever Dave Rubin, Glenn Greenwald, whenever a lot of their good columnists jumped off, and they started marketing. You know, they don't want to be attached to your fucking commie, socialist, progressive bullshit. You know, they want to market on their own products. They want to market on their own abilities. So, you know, they all started to jump off. Well, whenever everybody started to jump off the platform, so did their audience. And so they don't really have that much of an audience. Basically, all they have is a bunch of sock accounts, even though YouTube still tries to believe that there's some sort of alternative to mainstream media. But mainstream media isn't even competition for, like, say, a guy like Joe Rogan or a guy like Steven Crowder. I mean, you know, they see themselves as competition, and you know, socialists can't compete with themselves. It's not, you know, competition. You know, the socialists never excel at any kind of real competition. The market has to be controlled. When the market isn't controlled, well, then they panic, and this is exactly what's going on with TYT right now.
And because they want Twitter to be a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. They say,
and now they're about to get truly, truly ignorant. See, they have to over-exaggerate. They have to use hyperbole. They have to embellish everything, because none of this shit that they're fixing to sit there and say even closely correlates with anybody that I know that makes content here on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Outside of maybe trolling each other and playing with each other in a fun manner to go ahead and get some interest, and having little feuds, particularly on YouTube, that we used to have between the channels and whatnot, absolutely nobody is doing any of the shit that they're about to fucking sit there and make the claims.
He's not ready to make a decision yet on things like reinstating Donald Trump. He says he's going to be forming a content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints, which honestly sounds a lot like the status quo, except probably Breitbart will be involved or something. So anyway, there's a lot.
You would have to get people that are actually intelligent to go ahead and make this assessment. You cannot rely on little social justice warriors with blue fucking hair that get offended by everything to go ahead and administer your fucking website. It just doesn't make any sense. This is why everybody on Facebook, every other day, they're getting a 90-day ban because they posted something saying that fucking Hitler was a socialist. Or they're posting something saying that, about the election in 2020, you know, and they're questioning the election in 2020, or they're questioning the legitimacy of some vaccine because suddenly somebody died. You see what I'm saying? It's not the fucking same thing. That's not what you're sitting there. You're going to go ahead and make the claim that, oh yeah, everybody's killing everybody on the internet and it's dog shitty and it's a hellscape. No, absolutely not, because there would be no way that fucking TYT would be allowed on the internet. They have totally advocated for political violence against anybody who disagrees with them. You can go and find videos of Anna Kasparian calling for political violence against, conservatives, against white people. A number of people on Twitter would already be gone if they were holding everybody to the same standards. You know, if they were holding the people that are in BLM that were sitting there talking about attacking cops and their families and whatnot, then those people would not be allowed on the fucking internet. There's more. In fact, you can go back and look. There's probably more fucking political violence advocated for on the left, even in their little fucking fake news narratives. We all know who the fucking agitators are. It's the people on the left. It's never been the people on the right. The people on the right have never advocated for any kind of racism, discrimination-based policies ever in the history of fucking politics. It was always the left. It was always the Democrat Party. You're talking about a party that fucking ultimately got us into World War I, World War II, trying to get us into fucking World War III, got us into Vietnam. The fucking party of violence, the party of war, the party of blood and bloodshed and fucking bigotry has always been the Democrat Party. And that history is never going to change. It doesn't matter how much you want to fucking lie about it at all. So I mean, you know, as an independent, there's no way that I'm going to sit there and support the radicalization that has just been commonplace on the you're not going to get any kind of real progress from anything on the left. You're not. Because that's not how the left works. But we'll go ahead and listen to these fucking shills sit there and try to finesse, and you know they can't really fucking dazzle you with knowledge, so they'll baffle you with bullshit. That's exactly what they're gonna do.
A lot of moving pieces to this, and we don't know how soon major changes to the platform could happen. We can expect that there is going.
Well, we can expect 75% of the fucking people to be fired.
Usage of the N-word is up 500%.
Uses of the N-word. Uses of the N-word are up 500%. What's the N-word? Not Democrat. Oh, man, I hate that that's up. Not Democrat is up 500%. You know this fucking tool doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I meant, yeah, they're not sitting there looking, because I mean, you know, they didn't use this whenever people. It's funny how now we need to start looking at these algorithms now that Elon has bought Twitter. Although whenever I sit there and look up the algorithms to question the 2020 election, because I have my reserves about the authenticity of the 2020 election, and I look up algorithms. You can't listen to algorithms. That doesn't mean anything. But you can go ahead and take some generic straw poll from Network Condition Research Institute, and you can say everybody is saying the N-word now. That's how they fucking work. Like, I'm gonna fucking sit there and take your fucking peer-reviewed study as some sort of gospel, but we'll listen to him ramble on again.
Times. And we're likely to have more ads and more attempts to milk us for private information, anything that can make money for Elon Musk.
And why TYT thinks that they need all this advertisement right now, on their fucking
any large one-topping pizza
on their fucking broadcast. I don't know. I mean, what kind of effort do they fucking put into their fucking shit?
Twist in the story about the Twitter executives that I want to get to in a second. First, on the hellish landscape. Well,
now we get to hear the Neanderthal in chief, General fucking horsefucker himself is going to sit there and tell us all about the fucking landscape of Twitter.
Look, why do you think the rules exist in the first place? Like, the right wing makes us, and this is why I lost a lot of respect for Elon Musk over the last year, right? Because this guy has
and nobody cares what your oxygen-deprived fucking brain if he's fucking lost your fucking trust. I mean, look at your own fucking network. I mean, they're barely hanging on. TYT is barely hanging on. I guarantee you, if any one of you, Donovan Burrow, fucking Will Ferrell #1 fan, Travis Staley, if y'all go to fucking Twitter, I mean, if y'all go to TYT, right, you go to their channel and you leave a snide remark to them, they'll respond to you with their sock accounts. I promise you, because they don't get a lot of organic traffic. It's like fucking clockwork. I can already get them to say something stupid to me and to contradict themselves by just leaving one comment on their shit and just, starting a thread showing how fucking they're going to contradict themselves. And it's them, mind you, it's them on fucking sock accounts. It's your Jank Ugers, it's your John Idearolas, it's your fucking Jessica Burbanks and your Anna Kasparians that are responding to you. They have no fucking life but to get on the internet, see what people are saying about them, and responding in kind. Mick Foley deleted his Twitter account. Well, good, fuck. You know, it's not like you're contributing to a product right now. Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with another. Well, everybody knows that that's fucking stupid. There's no way that's going to get any fucking traction. That's even as dumb as fucking even as dumb as the fucking January 6th shit, Travis.
Reputation of doing amazing things, right? So you can't discount Tesla and SpaceX and all these things that he did, right? So don't be simple-minded about it. But it's not a black and white issue. I mean, the guy's the richest guy.
Whenever fucking Chang says this shit, that means he's about to get very fucking simple-minded. So we're going to go ahead and listen to his simple-mindedness.
In the world, it took some doing to get there, right? Now, he started with Emerald Mine, so it's a little bit easier for him than the average bear, but okay, he got there. So, but I give you that as context. But over the last year, he's kind of seemed like an idiot. And so, with the right
as compared to who?
God, we need free speech on Twitter. They're discriminating against us. And he's, oh my God, is that true? Okay, yeah, we definitely need free speech. Did it never occur to you to ask free speech for what? Like, hey, wait, Twitter is already a hellish landscape. Seems like they got a lot of free speech.
Actually, Twitter is a fucking hellish landscape. That's because nobody's on Twitter except for leftist fucking shills trying to fucking pass propaganda, trying to destroy the country, trying to go ahead and create all of these fucking, weird ass fucking narratives out there, trying to cause panic and civil unrest. That's all Twitter is. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a hellish landscape. So you can't make Twitter any worse right now. There's no possible way that fucking Elon can make Twitter worse. It'd be impossible.
What's missing, did he wonder, right? Well, we'll tell you what was missing, according to the right wing. Over-the-top racism, over-the-top anti-Semitism, calls for violence.
Now, whenever you listen to these fucking leftist tards out there, they're always sitting there saying, oh, Israel's the problem. Oh, the poor Palestinians. So, I don't want to hear you say anything. I mean, one of the people that they hate the most is Ben Shapiro. They have no problem being anti-Semit. Whenever it comes to their own special interests, they have no problem with having anti-Semitism. It's only whenever it goes against what they're saying. Oh, well, we got to protect it. Whenever somebody like Kanye comes out, and then it's like, oh, he's an anti-Semite. However, they don't care. I mean, it's not for them. They're not for trying to advocate for anybody. They're fucking for the illusion of advocating for people so they can go ahead and collect more resources. That's all the left does. And the left can't handle any kind of real pushback. They can't handle any kind of criticism, and they can't handle a free market. This is the issue.
All the different things that every social media platform logically came to the conclusion, that's really bad. If we allow that, like here, let's take anti-Semitism. Hey, if we allow that and we put Kanye back on and he's saying all these things about going a DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, by the way, the person who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband.
And, Kanye didn't say anything like that. He didn't say this shit. But this is why you can't let blue-haired fucking feminism decide your fucking who's going to be banned and who's going to be suspended. I guarantee you none of the shit that I've said on Twitter was warranted because it's all the truth, of course. They can't handle the fucking truth. Whenever a homosexual tries to come and attack you, oh, you're bigotry and all this other shit, and you tell them, hey, technically it's a chemical imbalance. It's a deficiency in serotonins. I mean, if you want to go with the love is love thing, and it's all fucking neurological and built into your brains anyways, and if they can't handle that, well, it's first trust the science, and then whenever the science contradicts what they're fucking saying, well, then you're being racist. You see what I'm saying? It's always forever moving goalpost. And ultimately, this is something that Elon needs to correct on Twitter. For him to have any success, he's absolutely fucking right. Now, if this is the case, and what fucking Cenk Uygur is saying is truth. Oh, anti-Semitism. Oh, racism. This can't be. Then there's no place on the internet for Cenk Uygur, because they have openly advocated for violence against their political opponents and have called to attack people in MAGA hats and whatnot, regardless of what you think about MAGA one way or the other. They've called for political violence. They've called for violence against white people. They've called for violence against law enforcement. They've called for violence and discriminatory for people like Kyle Rittenhouse and what was the other guy? Nick Sandman, whatever his name is. The other goof that was out there that they were all rallying against. They've called for violence against those people. So why are these people still allowed the platform? You understand? If this was the case, if Twitter was trying to do this for the best interest, then none of these people would be on the platform. BLM wouldn't be on the platform. Antifa sure as fuck wouldn't be on the platform. None of these people would be on the platform whatsoever. And in that same process, what ultimately happened? This is supposed to be a propaganda site, much like the fucking Hutus and the Watas up in the fucking Rwanda, which I keep hearing people, but it doesn't work the same. If there's it goes back to the old saying, if the tree falls in a forest and nobody's around to hear it, does it make a sound? If propaganda is just spread to other propagandists that are spreading the same propaganda, does it have any real effect? Absolutely fucking not. You're just spreading propaganda to other paid shills that are spreading the same propaganda. So whenever you see uniformly the fucking Twitter people putting on their Ukraine flags, but nobody's really jumping in to join the military right now because they don't support you, your propaganda is falling on deaf ears. So, deaf ears, I should say. So, I mean, yeah, this is what it is.
Today, horrible, over the top anti-Semite. Okay, so can you let those guys back in?
And I can guarantee you that as far as anti-Semitism goes, I don't think that there's many more that could be much more anti-Semite than Cenk Uygur. Like, he really can't stand fucking Jews in Israel at all. And, you can go back to the Dennis Prager debate. Should he be banned from the internet? Is he calling for, sometimes he calls for boycotts and stuff against Israel, but do I think he needs to be banned because of that? Absolutely not. Now, if he called for attacking certain Jewish communities and whatnot, then absolutely, he should be banned. But the sheer fact is that they can go ahead. The left can go ahead and call for violence against any communities that they want to. But as soon as you call them out for being violent and being belligerent and they need to be dealt with, then that can't be tolerated. Whenever you hold them to, accountable for their actions, well, no, they have to just be banned from the internet. Well, it's not going to matter anymore. It's not, because nobody cares. It's not going to stop everybody from sitting there talking and questioning about the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Doesn't matter how many people you fucking suspend. It's not going to stop people from sitting there talking and being irritated about the gas prices, about the inflation, about all of the ridiculous rules and stuff, the new tax burden that you're trying to go ahead. It's not going to stop people from talking about the shit. So it really doesn't matter. Your platforms are only as good as the people that are willing to go ahead and invest and use your platforms to go ahead and communicate like we do right here. But if it's no longer a use for that, then nobody's going to use your platform. Your platform holds no real fucking value. Your fucking network, Jank, holds no real value right now because nobody's watching your shit. You're doing it for a marginalized audience of maybe family members, close friends, and like your sock accounts and maybe, certain people that you're really, really close to. Other than that, nobody's really paying attention to your network. So how much value is there in TYT? How much value is there in the mainstream media if nobody is routinely watching your site trying to get any information? You've killed your own credibility. And that's where you're at right now.
And then next thing you know, there's millions of comments. Get the Jews. Get the Jews. You're going to allow that? That's insane. So that's why when he talked to advertisers, now that he paid
and this has never happened.
For Twitter,
this has never happened.
They're like, yeah, we don't want to sponsor people saying, go kill black people, Latinos, or Muslims, or Jews, or even saying outrageously awful things about them. That's a toxic environment, and we don't want to be in that environment.
But see, they do the shit all the time. And, they go ahead and make this. They are the world's worst about going ahead and accusing everybody else for the shit that they do. And this is exactly what the left is.
And all of a sudden, he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't say it, but no crap, Sherlock. Right? Like, yeah, you didn't know that? You didn't think about that? You thought they just made up arbitrary rules to be oppress the right wing?
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. And this is why more content, and it's not stopping the content. I can go on Rumble and I can go ahead and look up Andre Corbill's channel. And then I'll go on Andre Corbill's channel and I'll look up stuff about the vaccine and about the fucking commie cough that you keep saying. I'll go on BitChute and look up the, quote unquote election fraud, the 2,000 mules and shit like that. So it's not like you're stopping the information. The information is still out there. And, certainly all you're doing is doing the the Streisand effect. The more you try to hide the shit, the more people are going to go out and look for it. And then the more people find out the truth, the more agitated they're going to get that you're lying, manipulating, and trying to cover up shit. It just makes shit much, much worse. So these next few years will be very, very fucking interesting.
You believe that talking point? Like the world's dumbest schmucks believe that talking point. No, you look at Twitter, there's massive right-wingers that say the most atrocious things. And they're all allowed to say it.
And I guarantee you that the people that are saying the extremities of shit on Twitter are not right-wingers. But damn it, technically they could be. They could identify as right-wingers at some point in time. They're media shills, for the most part. They're State Department officials. And they've been doing this for fucking years. You could go on and say, let's say you go on to Huffington Post. This was one of the first ones that I used to love going on in trafficking was HuffPo. Because they would say ridiculous, stupid shit, much like TYT does. Ridiculous, over-the-top, dumb shit. And it's all this social justice warrior wokeism. Before wokeism was wokeism, HuffPo was woke. And so ultimately you had all of these ridiculous, dumbed-down journalists writing these stupid articles. And you can go over there, you can make a comment and say what you disagree with them. And then they would create sock accounts. They would use the N-word religiously. And this is like a kid throwing a tantrum is what it is. And, to a degree, there may be a lot of people out there right now on Twitter using the N-word. But I guarantee you it's state officials, it's State Department, and it's media shills trying to go out there and make these words trend as much as they can because they want everybody to give everybody the false impression that somehow Elon purchasing Twitter is now the rise of the new fucking Ku Klux Klan or something. That's how fucking off the fucking reservation they are. That's how fucking out to lunch they are. Everybody sees through your shit. Everybody understands your tactics. And why? Is because the majority of your party ultimately left whenever you screwed over Bernie Sanders, so they already understand your tactics. Independents and, the likewise, your fucking anarchists already don't have any trust for you. We already are familiar with your tactics. And the fucking Republicans probably understand your tactics. The only ones that don't understand that they're not being able to communicate with anybody is the fucking left. Nobody trusts you. And it doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to win anybody's confidence back by sitting there regurgitating ridiculous, stupid fucking talking points that you've regurgitated over and over.
You can't say, hey, go kill that guy, or let's go get
and nobody Jews, does that.
Let's go get black people, etc.
The left does that. The left does that. Fucking Maxine Waters does that. Cenk Uygur does that.
What do? Like, oh, I do free speech, everybody. And everybody rushes in, goddamn Jews, etc. Like, okay, you can't say that. And then people say,
and you see him over there already regurgitating the fucking remedial shit that he's fucking said. This is what happens whenever you are subject to years of fucking inbreeding.
Goddamn Donald Trump. Like, whoa. You can't say that. Those guys have more restrictions on speech than Twitter does.
Do they now?
But this idiot paid $44 billion for him. And I say idiot in this context. I'm being fair. He's smart in other contexts, right? By the way, he now acknowledges that he paid way too much everybody that's reporting on.
And I've been saying that fucking the asking price for Twitter was way too fucking much fucking months ago. I don't see there being any real value there. Are you going to be able to recover any kind of interest in Twitter? You got to get Donovan Burrell here interested in Twitter. You've got to get fucking Scott Casey Gill interested in Twitter. You got to get Travis Staley, who doesn't have a fucking Twitter account. You got to get him interested in Twitter. Is Stephen Rose going to be interested in going back on Twitter? I don't know. Dark Horse? Is any of these people interested in going back on Twitter? And I doubt it. Because the left has kind of killed Twitter. The media has killed Twitter. Just like they killed their own personal fucking networks. Just like they're starting to kill YouTube. Just like they're starting to kill Facebook. The mainstream media is like fucking pestilence. The Democrats are pestilence. That's exactly what the fuck they are. They go to one fucking... They take over one thing, and then they go ahead and eat all the resources and then implement all their fucking shit in it. And then ultimately it kills off that. And then they go ahead and suck off all of that until it's just completely fucking dead. Then they go on to the next thing, which is social media. And then they implement all their little ideas and policies and start sucking off all of on that and taking away on all that. And then that starts to die, just like Hollywood. There's not a lot of people that go out and watch movies now because they're afraid it's going to be woke bullshit. But this is exactly what the left does. They migrate to one thing, kill it off, and then they migrate to another area. This is why fucking TYT's fucking state, where they're complaining that they can't take showers now, and they don't have these freedoms and whatnot. But they want every other state to be like their fucking state. They definitely have opinions about us voting for Ted Cruz or Pennsylvania voting for fucking Mehmet Eyes, fucking Dr. Eyes. They have opinions of fucking Florida people voting for DeSantis, but their state is in utter total fucking despair. They're losing the culture war. They're losing the information war. Their fucking state is, if Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and the like start to collapse, the only thing that they'll have is agriculture, and they can't even do that because of their fucking weed shit. So yeah, their whole fucking their state is collapsing, but they have all the advice to give to everybody else. And, for some reason, it's everybody else's fault. It's never California's fault. So we'll go on.
I guarantee you, being in this industry, I know, he paid at least $20 billion too much. And so this is an epic disaster.
And this is one of those few times that the one fucking brain cell that is working very fucking feverishly to go ahead and allow Cenk Uygur to have the brain power to function that oxygen that comes up into his nose so he can sustain any kind of fucking autonomy, any kind of sentience whatsoever. This is one time that it actually fires off, and he makes a good point. Elon Musk did overpay for Twitter, because it's not likely value that's going to come back to Twitter.
The only reason he agreed to go through with the sales is because they sued him, which is going to bring me back to those executives that sued him in a second. But Jessica.
Yes, the bird is freed. I have a question for everybody. If there is a bird and a billionaire decides to buy that bird, is that bird now free, or is that bird just owned by a billionaire? It's a very, very simple question.
Was it free before? There, little internet thought that can't debate worth the shit. Like, she's been fucking owned everywhere on the internet. So, she's going to be the new Anna Kasparian, but she has, no personality whatsoever. Dry as fuck.
That's a great point.
Listen, he bought Twitter by leveraging loans against the stocks that he has in Tesla. How did he get Tesla's stock value to go up? He tweeted about it. He tweeted live. That it was going to go private at a certain point, inspiring a bunch of people to buy Tesla. He's lied about Tesla's business plans and their ability to achieve them within certain timelines. He got Tesla to have stock of such high value and him to have such proximity to capital by lying on mostly Twitter. Now he's facing a $258 billion lawsuit for also lying on Twitter about how great Dogecoin is as a cryptocurrency to get a bunch of people to buy it and to inflate the price then of Dogecoin.
And see, that's still free. One, that's still free speech. Two, it really wouldn't have mattered. It's not because of fucking Twitter. This is absolutely this is the problem with her, is that everything has to be dumbed down to the lowest common fucking denominator. No. Elon saying something on Twitter about fucking Tesla and fucking, SpaceX and whatnot and all this other shit. This, no, that's not how he accumulated so much wealth. Has nothing to do with the traffic on Twitter would not be able to accommodate for the success for Tesla stock going up to like $1,200. There just isn't enough of an audience to go ahead and effectively make that go up. The reason why the fucking Tesla stock went up so much is because you people in California decide we're going to go to all electric Tesla shit. And we're going to force you to do it too. And then all your fucking politicians went out and bought Tesla stock because they knew that they were going to go ahead and write legislation requiring all of these vehicles to be Tesla products. Fuel cell is a hell of a lot better than fucking Tesla. But it's all your little fucking, because what did fucking Pelosi did whenever Biden was signing all of that legislation, she went out and bought her ass a lot of fucking Tesla stock. It's that insider trading. So that has nothing to do with anything that Elon Musk said on Twitter at all. But this is how you know that we don't live in a capitalist economy. We live in a fascist economy where the government sets these regulations. Who can, achieve some sort of success, and who really can't.
He has used Twitter to make himself a ton of money and has used that proximity.
And see, this is why. The sad part is that she paid for this degree at Brown University. This is an Ivy League fucking degree right here, telling us her little fucking conspiracy theory that Elon Musk somehow achieved some sort of fucking wealth by lying about fucking SpaceX and Tesla on fucking Twitter, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. Thank you, Brown University, for going ahead and contributing this internet thought here. And letting her, and now you say, oh, okay.
To capital to amass a ton of power now over the public forum, and will no doubt be using that power to influence.
It's not like fucking he didn't accumulate a lot of wealth and had success with PayPal, right? Or PedoPal now, because it seems to be what they fucking advocate for, But see, that's hate speech to them. But hey, it's not my policies that PayPal's trying to fucking sit there and call out people that are homosexual that are against child grooming.
Elections and the dominant narrative in our country. And by the way, if he gets subpoenaed in this lawsuit, he's gonna be subpoenaed. Twitter will be what's subpoenaed. It will be Elon getting subpoenaed for a lawsuit against Elon's actions on Twitter.
And see, I could tell you right now, watching this court TV bullshit that they put on, these little fucking mock trials that they put on TV, waste of time. You're not going to come away any more intelligent, any more enlightened by watching the stupid shit like with Alex Jones and the Sandy Hills bullshit. You're just not going to come away with any kind of real, true intelligence.
That's a terrible situation.
Yeah, and you could tell that he knew he was going to lose. When you say, hey, I'm going to lose billions on this purchase while you're making the purchase, and you got out of the lawsuit and bought it anyway, that meant you're going to lose the lawsuit. Okay, there's no question you're going to lose the lawsuit. When Twitter said, no, you said you were going to buy it, we have a signed contract, you must buy it, right? And so the other lawsuits, a world of pain for him as well. But look, guys, I'm going to come back to the executives. So he fired all of them, the CEO.
And don't get me wrong, I hope, Elon can turn it around. I hope it could become a success story. I hope Elon can go ahead and bring Twitter up to a point to where it's like trading at $100 a stock. I think ultimately that would be good for everybody. People go ahead, invest in Twitter. You know what I'm saying? If he does right by it, don't invest in it now. Let's wait and see what he's going to do. He's already said that he's going to fire like 75% of the fucking people that work up there. It's a good start. Make it 100%. Fucking just move the whole facility out of California. That would probably be your best move. If I'm Elon Musk, I'm thinking about moving Twitter to Tennessee. A lot of people that are leaving California are moving to Tennessee anyways. Move it to Tennessee and allow, create jobs over there in Tennessee because right now California is just too toxic to be a hub for social media, and that's the God's honest truth. So that would be exactly what I would sit there and consider doing if I were in Elon's shoes. Move it to Florida. There you go. There's another booming economy. Florida's starting to go. Move it to Michigan. Move it over there to Detroit. They could use jobs over there. There's a lot of places that you can go ahead and move Twitter to. It doesn't have to be in California. So.
Or the CFO, the top legal counsel, etc. They're all. And he walked in with a sink, and he said, "Let this sink in." He's a child. And so look, I like that.
I think he's really funny.
And that's actually pretty. That's pretty fucking good because I've heard that he bought a sink and said, "Lift this sink in," and so yeah, it's corny, but it makes the left cringe, and just watching the reaction and having them be triggered. Well, it's just like watching whenever we elected Trump, it was funny just to watch them have the meltdowns because it was a personal rejection of them. And they knew it at the end of the day. Ultimately, they didn't care. The elites and the people that are in charge, they don't care. Those ones that are running, they don't care. They understand that Trump isn't going to do. We got 4 years of Trump. If Trump was going to do anything, he would have already done it. There would be none of this ridiculous fucking news coverage. He would have already repealed a lot of the fucking policies that were put in that were toxic, that are currently hurting you, but he didn't. So they don't care at the end of the day. However, at this point in time, watching the best thing that I get out of politics is watching them have little mental breakdowns and shit whenever they don't get their little ways. When the media's position is compromised, well, they have their little media breakdowns, and that's the only time that they become worth watching.
You don't think that he's really, really funny and clever?
Look, no, I live in a dad house, a glass house of dad jokes. Okay, so I don't care. Go with the sink, have some fun, right? And you fired him, and people are like, "Oh no, he fired the executives." What did you think he was going to do? Of course, he's going to fire the executives. Those executives sued him. They're the ones who made him pay $20 billion too much. By the way, credit to this now the former CEO of Twitter, because he goaded Musk to do all of this. Originally, it was him making a comment about Elon Musk, that prompted Musk to go, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll buy Twitter." And Twitter's a hot mess. And that CEO and all the other executives, they had no way of getting out of it anyway, right? And they're like, "You'll buy Twitter?" "Oh yeah, I bet you won't." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll offer you $44 billion. Oh my God, you offer 40? Yes, right?
And see, it's so simplified in his fucking chemically imbalanced inbred brain that is Cenk Uyghur's that he doesn't understand. If ultimately, there could be some liability lawsuits, and to be honest with you, those people who control the markets, I should say. I won't even sit there and call them the Illuminati, the globalists, right? Yeah, they don't really believe, they're going to get their value out of it, regardless, one way or the other. And whenever you look at the lack of value that Cenk and these people have put in, I think it's only a matter of time before their net worth will be targeted, And it's not like they're only they're absolutely advocating for their own downfall, anyways, because it was like I left a comment on TYT, and of course I got a stupid comment because that's all they can fucking produce out of their brains, a stupid comment. They say, "Yeah, bet you he's worth more than you." Yeah, what 10 bit? He's worth $10 million. Is that it? Right? Back in 2012. Well, that $10 million is probably only worth $7 million right now. And then if you get fucking 8 more years of inflation with 6 more years or 8 more years, I think it's 6 more years. If you get 6 more years of inflation, more than likely that fucking $7 million will only be really only worth about only $1 million. And then, and you got all these other people that are going to start to accumulate a certain degree of wealth. And so, yeah, ultimately, how much power will Cenk Uyghur have? In about 8 years from now, it's not going to be that much. He'll be lucky if he's middle class. He'll have to work again. And a lot of these people don't understand that. You know, while they're advocating for stimulus and all this free money and shit, that their own worth is going down because of that. Whenever they say $15 an hour minimum wage. So yeah, the executive probably went ahead and fleeced Elon into fucking overpaying for Twitter. However, if it works out for Elon and Twitter, Twitter starts to become a major hub on social media again, well, then that dude's going to be kicking himself in the ass. Because ultimately, Elon Musk would have more power than a lot of the people on the left, a lot of media outlets. He could potentially, I think Donovan Burrow had said it. I think that Scott Casey Gill had said it, that he should, consider buying Facebook and YouTube as well, eventually. And if it becomes, he could have a whole fucking media empire at his disposal. Who would have the two biggest media, which, if I'm Trump, I'm making a deal with Rumble. But then if it's, if he creates a media empire and then Trump creates his media empire with Truth Social, say Rumble, and maybe another site, maybe Minds or something, well then, these two could ultimately have, full control of media at some point in time, totally kicking out any kind of fucking socialist, leftist, commie idiot. So it'd all be venture capitalist. And hopefully we could have an open market and, maybe have more access to various media sites. But it's going to take a lot of trust busting for companies like Google, companies like Samsung, companies like iPod and Apple and all of these other stores. It's gonna take some trust busting and to go ahead and allow the market for open competition. Right now they can't compete in an open market. But we're going to have to see, because that's where you get most of your innovation. That's where you get your better content. And that's where you get a lot of your, that's where your life gets a lot better, is in a capitalist. It doesn't get better under communism. We're starting to see it. You're getting bits and pieces of communism and socialism, and they're playing with it and they're trying to implement it. And, society's gotten progressively worse and worse with progressiveness. But whenever you go back to capitalism, have more freedoms and more liberties, then there's more opportunities. People go out and they contribute to society honestly. And that's where you get your cures to cancer. That's where you get your alternative energies, transportations. That's where you get your real innovations, not just the next video game that's going to come out. So
now when they get fired, they have clauses in their contract that give them golden parachutes that say, hey, upon a change of control, you must get paid out, right? You know how much the CEO got today? Almost $40 million. Oh. And get a load of this. He cashes out at the value that Musk paid. But Musk pretty much paid twice what he should have, which he now, as I've said, concedes to. So if that guy had gotten normally fired, he would have gotten $20 million. Okay, but instead, because Elon's an idiot, he's going to get paid $40 million. He's like,
And see, that's not protected money, too. I can guarantee you, we can see in society with Bill Cosby and various other people who have made it to the top and have their fortunes squandered and taken from people that are ultimately in charge, the globalists and stuff. And like I said, yeah, you have 40 million now. That doesn't mean that he'll have 40 billion, say, in the next 5 years. That money could be siphoned off through lawsuits, civil suits, all kinds of suits. So, yeah, he made all this money, but did he make it honestly? Absolutely not. He didn't make it honestly. So, yeah, easy come, easy go. That's just the old adage. What's up, Dark Horse?
Go to the dumbass, and then he buys us at twice the value. Then he fires me. It's perfect. It's manna from heaven. Right now, he's got to be at his house high-fiving like crazy. He never has to work again. And he's got to be thinking, man, maybe I should go, Warren Buffett or something. It's working out great for me. No, they're not nearly as unsavvy as Elon Musk. Thanks for watching AI Truth.
And so, of course, this is TYT. like I said, judging by Cenk Uger's net worth, he was worth $10 million as of what was it, 2012, and that $10 million that he had back in 2012 is roughly worth $7 million right now. You know what I'm saying? Say the next 4 years at that 8% inflation going on right now, is that $40 billion? Is that $40 million still going to be worth $40 million that the CEO made? I'm going to say it's not going to do you any good, especially if you keep inflating the dollar and keep going ahead and driving inflation. Not to mention the what is that? Inflation Reduction Act out there that's going to be implemented. There's no telling what's going to happen with that $40 million that CEO pretty much goaded Elon Musk into. So yeah, it's just that's the TYT history though. They high five themselves and give them these pat on the backs and say how much of a success they are, that they pretty much stole $20 billion from Elon Musk. They openly fucking admit that Twitter isn't worth the $40 billion that Elon Musk paid for it, which I have said a number of fucking occasions. I think he's paid probably 20 times too much for what it was actually worth. Because I suspect that the only real value of Twitter is probably about $2 billion at the most, and that's me being generous. There isn't a lot of traffic on Twitter. But no, absolutely not. And they're complimenting themselves. At the same time, they're going to virtue signal and call you a racist. They're going to call you a bigot. They're going to call you a homophobe. They're going to sit there and say that there's no place on these platforms for you, and that you should be censored, and that your opinions should not be heard, while they're sitting there stealing out of your pocket right and left. That's just what they are. That's leftists as a whole. So now they're freaking out because Elon Musk, and like I said, if Elon Musk ends up becoming really, really successful, and he is able to go ahead and flip Twitter and turn it into a successful, he doesn't have to turn it into, this all-consuming fucking media force right now. But if he makes it a fucking usable site that people can get back onto and go ahead and create content, go ahead and communicate with each other again, and more people start to invest in Twitter, well, then he can go ahead and potentially buy YouTube and do the same thing with YouTube that he has done with Twitter. And if it works for YouTube and it works for Twitter, then he can go ahead and buy Facebook. And ultimately, he would have a media empire where Elon would be able to influence more people than anybody on MSNBC or CBS or TYT ever could. So, ultimately, yeah, it may have cost him $20 billion more than he wanted to, but ultimately with that much control, who knows? Now, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if he starts to go ahead and implement these changes that he's talking about, and if it's going to be worth like my time going and reinvesting. Like I said, my Twitter account, the one that they just suspended, it's still up. If I'm able to get back on Twitter and use Twitter again, I'll get back on Twitter, see what's up. If I'm not, then so be it. But it is going to be interesting to see what he does with it. If he does something with it, but like I said, I hope he does the right thing. I'm not one of these people that are out there like high impact flicks. It's like, oh, well, Elon is just a corporatist and he hates you and all this other shit. No, I want the man to succeed at it. Maybe more jobs. Like I said, maybe move Twitter out of California. Go ahead and get rid of a lot of these suspensions. Just go ahead and unsuspend everybody. And then we can go from there who, should be allowed on Twitter and then who should not. Go ahead and change those guidelines. Go ahead and get rid of a lot of the arbitrary rules that they made and see, who is really, not good, that is really, toxic for the site, and who should be allowed to go ahead and post content and, contribute to the site. But anyways, yeah, that's all I wanted to do a video on this. I know the left has been having a meltdown. It's been one of those popular things that they've been talking about. It's trending all over Twitter. They're crying already. And it's going to be one of those things to sit there and watch these people sit there and cry, particularly after 2022, whenever these elections happen. And they understand. Like I said, even your own fucking civil engineers, your fucking psychological operations, your fucking social engineers are jumping off of your platform. Tulsi Gabbard was the XO of the fucking psychological operations department in California. She's starting to move away from your platform just like everybody else. So we can see that there's no real value in the leftist platform. And more people are starting to wake up and they're starting to understand that, yeah, there's, communism isn't going to work. Socialists that are in this country have no business in the positions that they're at. So they have to start making a move somewhere in the center. Now, like I said, this could potentially end up going too far right because it seems to be the general consensus is if we're too far left, then we need to go extremely to the opposite end, to the religious right. That was from my last video. So it could potentially go too far right, but we'll see at the end. Right now, definitely, I think that the United States as a whole understands that communism, socialism, these leftists that are in charge, they're not the solution. They are the fucking problem. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. You people tell me what you think. You like, sub, do the shit YouTube and Facebook tell me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.